PAGA Games is a Ukrainian company. The central office is in Kyiv. It's a developer of mobile games with 5 years' experience. It was so cool, so nice and easy, and we had no idea that our life can change completely and what kind of difficulties we should face. We woke up not with coffee, but with the announcement about war. Russia had attacked us. Explosions in the center of Kyiv. I understood that I must fight for my tomorrow. On 24th of February at 5 in the morning, I woke up from the sound of sirens. I have a wide view from my window to the whole street, and I had a feeling that now it's 4 p.m. or something. There were a lot of cars, a traffic jam. I woke up from all those fireworks, and I remember that the first half an hour was the scariest, because we had no information. For me, it was total shock, but I started to get ready for work. I didn't even get up and thought, okay, everything is clear. Yes, it was unexpected, but I had no panic. My co-worker wrote me, I'm going to the office. My HR Luba wrote me, Olya, please go back home, it's war. On 22nd of February, my son was born, and on the 24th, I should have taken him home. So we made jokes afterwards that we took a baby home with fireworks. We went to the supermarket and bought lots of food. Occupants invaded from the side of Belarus through Chernobyl AES and went along Dnieper to the south of Ukraine. There was a landing in Gostomel. On 25th of February, the defense of Kyiv had begun, and on 27th there was a fight for the airport in Vasilkiv. The next day, I went to the shelter and tried to help with what I could. For me, my work was a savior because it helped me and distracted me from all this. The first month, I can remember as a TV series, which I've seen once. And now I can feel this time was torn apart from my life. Because we all would never have thought that we participate in something like that. How are you? Are you alive? Where are you? These were the most common questions at that time, and the CEO started closer communication with the team. Hi. I hope you're all safe now. There is a peace above your heads. Together with our auditors, we take care of payment. And we will try tomorrow or in the first days of the month to make all payments as usual. I think at this time the question, how are you, became the same as I love you, I value you, you are an important person in my life, you are an important colleague. I would never have thought that I'm able to write something like, I love you in case something happens, we'll meet again in life. We didn't think about work at all, to be honest. We have been thinking about our safety and the safety of our beloved people, our colleagues. We didn't think about making new projects. It was not the right time for that. Somebody was sitting in the bomb shelter. Somebody was a volunteer. A couple of days before the invasion, we've been thinking about what to do in case, but we couldn't expect even something like that. We couldn't imagine experiencing such an impudence from our neighbors. It was absurd. A war in the 21st century in the middle of Europe. On 23rd of February, one colleague of our team was taken to the military recruitment office. And after that, we understood that something strange is going on. I've got a letter from military recruitment office on 22nd of February, I think. And on 25th, I was already in the military department because on this day, they already approached to Apollon. There were no other options. Now they send some people for study abroad for several months, but back then we had no chance. I had a job where I could come back, and I was often thinking about it. Luba called me all the time, and I had a feeling that it's her who is fighting, not me. At the same time, our CEO was a volunteer as well. A great respect to our CEO because he started to support those militaries who needed help. I monitored the whole studio all the time and checked if all is fine, if they all have everything they need. And if there was a situation where somebody needed something, there were no personal savings, problem with food or lack of food, I asked them to tell me. Our studio became a volunteer support. I tried to find out what kind of armoured waistcoats there are. I've called Poland and all possible neighbour countries and asked if they have some. I checked all possible websites to buy any necessary clothes and equipment. Unfortunately, we couldn't buy any Bayraktars. But in the front zones, there was a lack of many important things. I sent them as much money as they asked for. They went to the shops and tried to buy the necessities and took them to bunkers, to old people, people in need. They tried to feed them and fulfill all the necessary gaps.
Слава Україні! Слава нації!
A morning ritual, meditation or yoga was at that time a calling if everybody is alive. How do we all feel? And the most essential thing we said, I love you. You are a very important person in my life. You are an important colleague in my life. We tried to stick together. We played games in the evening. We helped and supported each other. The missile was launched. Is it scary? Not anymore. That's it. Of course, when you go to do a grocery shopping and hear the work of air defense troops, you think that it's our guys. It's okay. I can proceed. Ah, it's a siren again. Today, despite the situation in our country, we made 100% of salary payments. It's been already 1.5 months, and I realized that it's not going to end in 1 or 2 weeks. So I must plan my further life somehow. In April, we got a corporate psychologist. She helped a lot, and each of us could have an anonymous appointment with her. So she didn't know who exactly it was. It could be any of us. We made a collective payment. We started communicating with my team to make decisions. I remember very clearly that we should have done a release that day, but we did it anyway. We released a bit later, but we still did it. This release was one of the best of last year. Despite of missiles and invasions, we did it. It was amazing that we had a connection. It was very important at the beginning of war. Many people told me afterwards that there was no connection. It would be possible to go crazy. When you're alone, it's easier to dive into depression and panic. But as soon as you gather yourself together, you do something. You feel relief. It was chaos, but there was also an inner system in our team. There is no creativity without chaos. How can you make something creative if you have only structure? Like for instance, so at 6:35 I sit here, and at 6:36 I look at this side, at 6:37 I must think about that, and at 6:39 I have an idea and ready to release it. No, it doesn't work like this. For me, PAGA Games is my second family, and I'm not exaggerating now. I have met so many beautiful, talented and creative people who inspire me a lot. I'm an introvert and usually have difficulty in connecting with people, but here I can always dive into a friendly and relaxed atmosphere. Somebody even makes jokes that we don't work at the office because we're all just hanging around, drinking tea. Oksana, please be careful and don't destroy the lamp. We are not just PAGA Games, we are PAGA family. Game development is a very complex process. At the most difficult and stressful time of our lives, we decided that we will still develop the project Strange Hill. I think that this product is an emotional release for our co-workers at this period. We created the base core of the project, and it was just at the pre-production level. We tried to make it good. We experimented with new mechanics, with some gameplay, and with the visual effects. So we already had a raw picture of this project, but we had no idea what it will look like in the end. The project became more qualitative. We have changed the concept, the main plot. We began to think in a wider way. New project is always a process. We make it, remake it, renew it, and so on. For me, it was a stressful period, to be honest. There were many spontaneous things without any preparation, so a bit chaotic. Our team had to work in maximum uncomfortable conditions when you don't know what you're doing. It's not interesting for us just to make some copies. We want to create something new and cool. Otherwise, why should we even start this? At the beginning, we had one universe with many detective stories and quests, where we found out about an evil neighbor who wants to make a trap. Then we even made a zombie theme, and there was a common topic. And then it all became a meta-universe, with different worlds and even rabbits. As I remember it, we started this project in 2020. Then it became a project called Island. Then we called it Mr. Wood, and then we came to the name Strange Hill. As I remember this project in February, and then in October, it became totally different. I had a question: who is Gloria? It's one of our main antagonists. I know who it is. It's a huge, powerful woman who's supposed to scare the gamer. We made everything new, and if we would have checked the old documents, that would be surprising about the long way we have been through altogether. That's why our project became different. We made it bigger, more interesting, and more difficult on purpose. The point is that people come to a game world not just for fun. Somebody started with game development from very childhood. Somebody plays games from very childhood. Some people came to this a bit later. It's a calling to develop games. In the middle of summer, we started to work at the office again and communicate live. Lots of people came back home, especially those who were abroad. It was such a joy to see familiar and friendly faces of co-workers again. People whom you missed so much. It was a big change. We came to the finish line. We had all we wanted to release. And now we just needed to make this first step ahead. Massive attack all over Ukraine. From the early morning, there are missile attacks in Kyiv and in all other regions. Some explosions were heard in the center of Kyiv and some other parts of the capital. Dear Ukrainian people, one more day of our defense. It's an extremely difficult day. There are reconstructions all over Ukraine now. All objects which were damaged by Russian terrorists today, we will renew. The scariest thing of those massive attacks were blackouts, because they can turn off the electricity, but nevertheless, they are not able to turn off the light in our hearts. Elevator doesn't work, there is no electricity, but it's okay. Because the most important is that the cats in the office get their treats every day. When we want to eat something or have a quick snack, we have this little thing and a blue light. We don't have any electricity, that means we cannot cook any kind of food. We don't have a connection. At the beginning, we didn't have a connection at all. It was a new trap of this war, and was a big demotivator for all of us. Personally, I slept in the metro because there was a massive attack of Kyiv and it was very cold. And I have decided that I will sleep in the metro. It didn't scare me. The thing which really scared me was that some co-worker may write, or may not even write at all. It was so painful to think about it. But our resources were not endless, and I remember that we bought power banks for the X5 and X10. We bought a generator at the end of November, and the price was 2 times higher than now. The end of November and beginning of December was a very difficult time. It was insane with electricity. In our Odessa part of the team, the situation was even worse. They had no electricity at all. So how can we plan something if we're not sure what tomorrow brings? We've been busy with the project itself and didn't really think much about anything. Okay, there were attacks, there was no electricity for half of the day or so, but we had no idea we could stay for a week without electricity. There was no connection, and I had no idea what's going on because I couldn't even reach someone. It made a huge psychological impact. It's a different feeling when you come to the office and work with real people. Our guys have always been very connected, but now we consider every possibility to meet live as a precious opportunity. There is no electricity, no internet, no possibility to work. But it's a great time to put a couple of candles in the office and make a big table game for 3 hours or so. To be honest, I think we all reconsidered our lives. What helped me? My family, my husband, my cat. When there was a siren alarm and there was no electricity, I had no connection and no possibility to go to the right bank of the river to my home. I had to go by foot a couple of metro stations just to kill the time. You must adjust to circumstances. It's not comfortable at all, but it's also the experience, and we got used to it. We've learned how to find the way out of many difficult situations. It's unbelievable. This made us stronger. One of the first events I remember was our Halloween party. Our office became a place where we can work, or to come and spend the night if necessary. It was winter, very cold. It was impossible to stay at home. You spend 24/7 in your winter jacket at home. There was a missile. We all turned our heads and saw the smoke. I thought, what are my co-workers going to do? They all turned, looked, and continued to work. This hyper-focus on our goal helped us to make a real small invincibility point from our office. At the end of November and at the beginning of December, there were a lot of people in the office. It's what we wanted, but not under those circumstances, of course. It's a very interesting experience. We had a tradition. Every Thursday we gathered in the office to play games. People who create games like to play games. Each of us keeps this inner light inside and tries to share it with a friend, a colleague. We hope for the best, but we are ready for everything. We are ready to work anyway, and to create cool projects, and to conquer the game industry. To my great surprise, in 3 or 4 months, this chaos became a whole concept of development. We really liked the final product end result. We kept everything in chaos till a certain point, but then we decided that time came to fix it. When the project became the whole, when we began to realize what is this game about, what are the details, we had to find out where is the basis before the release, the alpha demo, etc. I have told everybody that our company makes amazing, cool games, and what kind of innovative technology it uses to begin with management. We are developing well. This extraordinary experience can be transmitted into games. The game is the communication with the gamer. You transmit some story, some emotion. We are under attack for a long time, but the East has been under attack for 9 years now. Guys from Ukraine, from Gendev, and from engineering, they are very strong. We can show ourselves, we can develop, and can say that we are able to release a good product. We are not a part of some other country, and we are not an unknown country. We are doing great, and we always have been full of interesting projects. We have some games which are well known in the world, such as Kozaki, or Stalker, or Metro, and many others. Before, it was just not very clear about who we really are. We are not going to stop. And I think that we really have a bright future. I am proud that I am surrounded by truly great people. They are very important for me, and I love them so much. Chaos helped us to make this game the way it is, and the Order will help to launch it in time and make it successful. I think so. The ability to work in an extreme situation is true for all Ukrainians now. We are trying to create, even in chaos. We are working actively. We are preparing for the release and looking forward. It will be an important event for all of us. I hope that this project will become our first step, Steam. And I hope that this project will become the first step for Switch. It will help us to learn how to make something interesting. We will launch something great, and I am talking now not only about our company, I am talking about all Ukrainian IT. We don't have a problem with it at all. We can adapt. I was thinking about these slogans. What was it? Who created it? But now, for me, it's clear. We love and value people even more. I'm talking about all people in the world, except those who attacked us. We will not forgive them, it's for sure. Never. I was inspired with beautiful emotions within our team despite difficult times. It helps me. We know for sure where to go and how to do it. And Blizzard, be aware that we will go ahead.